Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Miles Trial. Today is day 19 of the MILESGUO trial. I'm your host, Saturn, who will be taking you through today's episode. And I know that for this week's schedule, things are a little bit pushed back just because they needed more time for the witnesses to testify. So each day actually ends at 5 p.m. Eastern as opposed to ending at 3 p.m. Eastern at the regular schedule. So as of yesterday's show, we actually missed out on a little bit of the testimonies, and also one of the witnesses who have appeared right after the segment right after our show ended yesterday. So today we will also be bringing you a recap of what transpired yesterday right after the show concluded, and also giving you a live update on what has happened in the trial today. And before we move on to the reporter right outside the Southern District Court of New York, I just wanted to refresh everybody's memory that the Miles trial is Miles Guo facing 12 counts of fraud charges and also 1 count of RICO. He has never pled guilty, and right now we are on the 21st witness as of yesterday. So with that being said, let us bring on our reporter from right outside the Southern District Court of New York. Let's welcome Kevin onto the show.
Hi, Saturn. Glad to be back here again,
Kevin.
In front of the courthouse.
Yeah, it's good to see you again, Kevin. I think it's been a while since you did a segment right outside the courthouse. But again, you have done a spectacular job at giving everybody a good layout of what happened at the trial. So, I mean, without further ado, the first question we always have to ask is, how is everyone at the court today? How do they seem? And also, how is Miles? Because let's face it, Miles has such a great energy, like as always. So it's always good to hear how Miles is every day.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as usual, the courthouse is always packed. The line is literally around the room again. People are lining up literally at 7:45, 7:50. Even at 7:45, there's like halfway across the room. So as you can tell, it's very busy. It's very packed. People are interested in in this case, right? And then on Miles today, he's the same as usual, very energetic, very high-spirited, laughing, smiling, waving as people are entering the room, and just nodding. And he was wearing a charcoal suit, very fashionable white shirt and black tie.
Yeah, and also before we move on, I heard from some of the other members who have attended the trials that the amount of supporters are actually increasing every day. So I believe today, from what I heard, is a day with the most people and present in the courtroom. Is that correct?
Yeah, for sure. The gallery today is completely packed. I want to correct you. It's the most amount of supporters so far. We're only on day 19. We still got more. I'm sure there'll be more supporters showing up. And I know that a bunch of supporters actually had to go to a different floor to watch it over a screen, just because there just isn't enough seats in the courtroom.
Yeah, and also, so let us move on to the witnesses and the trial itself. I know we actually missed out on a portion of the witnesses and the testimonies yesterday. So can you give us a little bit of a brief background on this 21st witness? Because I think this witness is also a little bit different from the witnesses that were brought up before.
Yeah, for sure. So our 21st witness is Lee Marie Reyes Monalaris, and she's a former G Club CEO, and she's one of the 3 people actually that signed an NPA, which is a non-prosecution agreement with the prosecution. And so today it was just a continuation of the prosecution direct from yesterday, and near the end the defense counsel was also able to conduct a cross. And so just like a brief overview of what happened during the direct today by the prosecution. They first started off with just showing a bunch of evidence and showing the different entities and asking the witness what she knew about those entities and just sort of explaining them. And then after that, I think they got into more of the main points. So throughout this trial, the prosecution has been trying to basically link everything back to Miles, right? Saying that he's in charge of everything and he's the one behind the scenes controlling everything. So from the previous witnesses, we know that they mentioned how Miles ordered entities to buy assets such as cars, Ferraris, Lamborghinis for personal use and for his family. And so today, in the evidence that they showed how G Clubs bought a Ferrari, Lamborghini, a yacht as well, and how they basically try to link it back to Miles through email chains. However, on the email chains, the communication was between the witness Lee Marie and the UBO of G Clubs and all the other entities, which was Mr. He. And so this was basically the main arguments that the prosecution was trying to make throughout this morning, the afternoon. And then once the cross started today around 1:30 by Sid, who is one of Miles's lawyers, he went on straight to basically clarify that Miles is just a spokesperson for G Clubs, right? He doesn't have any actual influence or authority, right? And he received zero salary, right? He was just helping with marketing and attracting customers, right? And Sid made very clear that Miles has a anti-CCP background, right, as the #1 enemy of the CCP, and he even asked the witness if she agreed that he's suitable for this role as part of G Clubs, since G Clubs is made for the target audience of people who are anti-CCP. And so Sid was able to clear that up really thoroughly for the jurors. And then after that, they also talked about also asked the witness about disclaimers on the G Club's website, which basically said that do not refer to what Miles says in his videos or whatever as actual truth or as what G Clubs actually represents. Miles is just a spokesperson, and all the statements he makes are his own views. And then around 2:30, then the court went on for a second break.
Thank you, Kevin, for the brief overview of what had transpired today. But I think this is something that's interesting to point out too, is that, and I also wanted to give the audience a little bit more clarity, is that G Clubs is the company that has purchased a lot of these, a number of these luxury vehicles that were presented in court as both evidence, and also has witnesses from these dealerships testified in court regarding these purchases. So through this witness number 21, who is the CEO of G Club herself, I think this is where all of these evidence and all of these witnesses kind of converges all in one spot. So I think one of the things that I actually am curious about is, before we actually already looked at some of the bank statements, some of the how they were paid, where the cars were delivered to, what is different in this time when this witness is being asked regarding these evidences that revolves around some of the purchases?
Yeah, so well, first, this time they showed the email chains showing how Mr. He, the UBO, wanted Lee Marie to actually get these assets. And the second thing is just the way, I guess, the prosecution framed how these assets were purchased. So they showed evidence how there's two companies for two entities. There's G Club's Operations LLC, which is based in Puerto Rico, and then there's G Club International Limited, BVI, which I believed is based in the British Virgin Islands. And so what happened is that they showed email chains and evidence showing that G Club's operation in Puerto Rico loaned the money to G Club's BVI, and then G Club's BVI would purchase the assets, such as the Lamborghini, the Ferrari, and the yacht, just to name a few. And so I believe those two, were the main differences in today's evidence.
This is actually a little bit interesting too, the fact that they actually brought on some of the other G Club's entities as well. I may have to refresh my memory on this, but I don't think the G Club's BVI was mentioned previously. So I think it did
Yeah.
bring another set of details revolving some of these purchases, and also I think there were also like a number of other things that were also mentioned because it relates to not only the purchases of the vehicles but also G clubs itself. So again, but I will dive a little bit deeper for our audiences in regards to these newer pieces of information, as opposed to some of the continuation and convergence of certain pieces of evidence and witnesses from the past. And I mean, with that being said, thank you, Kevin, for giving us a very good rundown of what happened today at the trial. We look forward to having you on the show again.
Thank you, Saturn, for having me.
Now, before we move on to the discussion panel with some of our other members who have attended the trial today, I would like to bring our attention to our NFSE Speak X account. On our X account, this is where we will generally give a live update on the trial as we get information regarding this trial. If anybody is interested about the trial, you can both watch the show or also come to our X page for some of the live updates, just because if your schedule does not allow you to watch a 1 hour episode, you can still be able to get a general gist of what had transpired that day based on some of the tweets. And if you have more interest in this case, you can actually go to our official website at NFSE Official. We will upload the transcripts for the trial daily, and pretty much as soon as we obtain the transcripts, it will be uploaded. And these transcripts, I would say, give a very good idea of what was being talked about in the trial, and also some of the testimonies that they give, because it's very conversational. So it's actually a lot easier to read than you would imagine. Now, with that being said, let us bring on our guests for today. We have Ava Chen, and also Feather joining us in the show. And I know Ava actually paused her whistleblower show this Saturday for the duration of the trial, but for our LFA audience, Ava is not leaving the platform for the meantime. She is still, you guys will still get Ava in the week. It's just that the time Ava will be on the show will be from 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern. We don't know which day, but that's why you got to stay tuned if you still want to continue to watch more of Ava Chen during this time.
Yeah, thank you, Saddam. Thank you for tuning in for this 19th day, right? We're on the 19th day. And I really enjoyed the day, although this morning it's a little bit tiring because we're still trying to finish the witness number 21, the former CEO of G Clubs. And I was listening a little bit to what you described, how you describe G Clubs, but I wanted to let the audience know G Clubs is one of the entities that in the new federal state of China, it is a way of actually gather and unite, with like-minded people, as we heard the term that came up from the testimony today during the cross, which is awesome because it testified that the CEO, although she was only the CEO for a little bit over 2 years, but she gathered the basic understanding of why we want to be a member of the G Club. It's not just the luxury life in the future that draws us in. It is the concept that we're gathered here and to take down the Chinese Communist Party. And because we have the mess and we make each other safer by coming together. So that came across in this afternoon. But it was a good day and I can't wait to share more details with you guys. Feather.
Yeah, absolutely. And then this is like the one witness that actually brought a lot of information about G Clubs, and I believe a lot of people who are not familiar with are just learn about G Club once again through the testimony of this witness. And the same with Ava, and I cannot wait to bring the details, and then I made a lot of connections from the direct examination and the cross examination that we're really excited to share some informations.
Yeah, thank you for coming on to the show. And also, I think this is very similar to what the digital, the witness has to do with digital currency last week, where we were able to learn a little bit more about an aspect of the G series. Last week it was our H coin and the Himalaya exchange. So I think this week for this witness is very interesting. But before we dive into the trial today, I would like to, if you can, Ava, because I know you stayed until the end of the trial yesterday. If you can just give us a little brief rundown of what happened in those 2 hours that we missed out on for this witness, I think that would be great as a start for our viewers.
Yeah, for sure. So the prosecutor prosecutor team started the direct questioning yesterday afternoon, and through the 2 hours of front yesterday, I wanted to just summarize for you that they wanted to achieve. The government wants to achieve a very clear purpose, and the purpose jumps out for me is they wanted to show that although this lady named Lee Marie, she was the CEO for a little bit over two years, but she wasn't really given the authority. So I think that's the impression they want to give to the jury and also to the rest of the court, because a lot of the repeated question asked her about why this decision regarding the G Club was made, and the response always being, I don't know. Did you ask somebody? And she said, not recall, not that I'm recall. So this is repeated, asking either including the price of the G Club, who said that? I don't know, it's not me, somebody else said it. What about some of the marketings? Who determined MILESGUO is the spokesperson for G Club? I don't know, it's not my decision. Basically, repeatedly throughout the 2 hours that they tried to leave an impression that this person, although have the title of the CEO, but really did not do much involving in some of the important aspects of this operation. I think they spent a lot of time focusing on that for yesterday, the day before. Today. So today, the director starts the questioning. They're focusing on another aspect which I think the prosecutor team tries very hard to build, which is examining the trail of money. Okay, because this is a fraud case, right? And so what they've done through this witness, Lee Marie, the CEO of the G Club, former CEO of G Club, is we examined a lot of loan agreements and purchase of so-called assets of the G Clubs. So we basically pretty much spent all the morning of direct in that aspects. So what came across is, at least I counted, at least there's 5 loan agreements that we went through, and there are some piece of physical assets. For example, Lamborghini, for example, Bugatti and camp van, and what's the other one? The yacht.
Yeah.
There is a yacht.
So this is something
it's all
new.
camp. Yeah,
So that's something new.
It's
the
all,
loan agreements and also the yacht.
Exactly. These are the assets that the G Clubs purchased, and for planning, providing all those benefits to the members. Okay, so these are basically 101 they touched for each loan agreement. So the loan agreement is between the G Club Operation LLC, which is a Puerto Rico company. Okay, and then the loan was loaned to an entity called G Club International Limited, which is BVI, British Virgin Island registered parent company. Okay, and both company has the same UBO, which is ultimate beneficiary owner, and his name, which mentioned and appeared multiple times in previously, He, Mr. He. Okay, so he is the ultimate beneficiary owner, so that's why he signed on all of those loan agreements, and basically moving the money from the Puerto Rico, where the members' money goes in, okay, and then move the money to the BVI, so the BVI can purchase all of the assets, which for the membership to enjoy. Okay, so they spend a lot of time is examining all those transactions. I think the impression or the message the prosecutor team wanted to convey is they intentionally insinuating there's something wrong with how this loan agreement was structured, and because they repeating every loan agreement they reviewed, they ask, where did the money come from? To the G Club operation. Oh, it's a membership fee. But every single assets they mentioned is actually for G Club. It's acquired for G Club on behalf of a G Club. It's not a personal, as the prosecuting team wants to paint as a personal assets enjoyed by MILESGUO or MILESGUO's family. So this is very clear that the information, even from the direct questioning. Okay, so go ahead.
Yes, there's one connection I made. Just like Ava said previously, yesterday, when she was asked, whether the decisions you made on G Clubs, and as a CEO, and then she's like, oh, did decide that I don't really get to choose anything. She doesn't even know. Yes, today I wanted to mention she doesn't even know why there's a G Club in Puerto Rico. And then and then after we review, this is the answer she had in the direct examination, and then in the cross examination there's this defense exhibit, I believe. It's the business alliance presentation. So it's like a proposal made by the let's say that the G Club to find a service provider. For example, the Yacht Life was one of the service provider, and then the potential other service provider that they can find to benefit the G Club members. So this business alliance presentation literally listed Puerto Rico as the first G Club, physical club, that provides luxury life and luxury experience for the members. And there will be other G clubs, physical clubs that open all around the world. And then this doesn't make sense if she doesn't know why there's one in Puerto Rico. If everyone is in New York, but then this thing is the international group, right? G Club International, it's in New York. This is like the headquarters. And then you have the clubs all around the world and to provide services for people to go there and visit. And this was explained very, very well in the cross-examination that just started this afternoon. And correct me if I'm wrong, because I had a really hard time.
I remember, at the direct questioning, when asked why the G Club is established in Puerto Rico, the answer is correct. She said, I don't know. But then she added something. She said, maybe it's to do with tax, something to do with tax, but she's not sure.
Yeah, and also to give our audience a little bit of clarity, the Puerto Rico, the G Club's, the 21st witness is the CEO of G Club Puerto Rico. So that is the reason why Puerto Rico is being brought up right now in the conversation. So just to clarify that aspect for the viewers.
She's the CEO of the G Club Puerto Rico.
Yes. And in the direct, because we're going to come back to the cross, because I think cross has a lot of, we only had probably about an hour, 5 minutes for the cross, because before we leave, right? They ended at 2:30. The judge ordered a break, so basically, so we only had an hour basically for the cross. But the majority of the day is the direct. Okay, so the direct, actually, another thing that came across from this morning and also yesterday is some of the services, as you mentioned. So the direct prosecutor team did ask some of the services and say, tell me some of the benefit services you say that G Club is offering. So this former CEO said, for example, the hotel chain, the hotel discount we offered in Puerto Rico. And then the prosecutor team said, is it Puerto Rico only? Yeah, it's only in Puerto Rico. And how much is the discount? It's 10%. Okay, so did G Club paid anything in order to get this 10% for the members? No, we didn't pay anything. So they kind of went through a few of those membership, but you get the gist, because the prosecutor team wanted to mention that these member services are only to limited geographic location, which is Puerto Rico. And then they asked, does G Club have any numbers in Puerto Rico? The answer is no. Okay, so the answer from the direct is no. So it gives you an impression, feels like the G Club charging people 50,000 to 10K, but for nothing. Okay, so that's the impression they're trying to leave, but that's not the case. In which in the cross, in the very first hour, we had turned that upside down, pretty much, right? And we will get to that.
And just to before, and there's one more thing that just popped out in my head. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, for sure.
I remember you guys mentioned the loan agreements and the fact, and I wanted to see if they showed any documents that had any signatures on it that showed who what was the communication between if Miles were like a part of it or at all that they testified.
I do remember a loan agreement between the G Club Operation LLC and the G Club International. So like this agreed terms is that the lender to the borrower, I think it's $2 million.
Yeah, there's quite a bit transaction.
Right. And there's and then there's just the borrower is not from one party. There's this Mr. He with G Club BVI is the borrower, let's say, and then the lender it's
it's G Club Operation.
G Club Operation. There's notices, and a lot of loan agreement. There's a couple. You mentioned 5, right? And then the result, like from the direct examination, it's just to say that none of the loan agreement was being paid back.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That was a question. But back to your question, MILESGUO's signature has not shown on any of those documents. As I mentioned, these two entities, which is the G Club Operation LLC, registered in Puerto Rico. The signing authority and the ultimate owner is Mr. He, and so did the other BVI, which where the money actually loaned to. The borrower is also owned by He. It's also G Club, but registered in BVI. So technically, these are G Club's internal loan agreement with arm's length entities, and that there's nothing wrong with it because the legals, gone through it. The signature is very clear. And I remember two of the transactions they did mention about the funds are not actually transferred to BVI. They actually transferred to the fund receiver. So 3 parties involved. Okay, so just make it clear. So basically, the G Club Puerto Rico entering a loan agreement and say wire, let's say, $5 million to the G Club BVI that was on the loan agreement, say G Club BVI borrow this at a percentage of 3% or 2.2% annual interest rates. But when the wire when it comes to wire the money is actually does not wire to BVI G Club. It wires to a third party who the G Club has already entered into a contract to purchase, for example, Himalaya Exchange Coin, okay, Himalaya Digital Assets, okay, so that there is 2 transactions like that kind. Okay, so they did evaluate all those transactions. So today, this morning, lots of contracts, lots of signatures. Ask her to confirm whose signature is, but none of them has any remotely connected to MILESGUO. Okay, and I was very surprised to learn that as a G Club CEO, because I personally talked to her at the headquarters office in New York. Once, when that was the annual anniversaries that we had a sweepstake. So the good thing is, through her questioning, direct questioning, she did share with the sweepstakes. She did say, oh yeah, G Club did offer another benefits to the members, which is the sweepstake, and she gave exactly the time where the sweepstake and G Talks events happen. G Talks, just for audience, it is a member summit. Okay, it's supposed to be physical, offline members summit gathered together, but because of during the COVID, these are moved to virtual events. So the former CEO testified there's 2 G Talk sweepstake and G Talk Summit. The first one is in February 2021, and the second one is in March 2022. And the first one, the budget is 2.5 million, and the second one is 1 to 1.5 million. So these are the total prize that gave away, that including vehicles, Lamborghini, like G fashion stuff and other like luxury items.
Right.
Okay, so she did confirm that. This is actually all in the direct, which give the jury a view of what is indeed some of the benefits that the G Clubs have been offering to its members. And one of the things that she testified that I didn't know, and I learned that she said she left G Club on her own terms, so she resigned because there's lots of legal issues, with the companies. Because at the time, the G Clubs has already received a subpoena from the government in June 2022, and then also in October 17, the G Club received a letter. G Club received an email from its in-house counsel notifying that G Club's bank account's going to be seized and falsified by the U.S. Attorney's Office. That's in October 17, 2022. So along the way, if we put all those different entities, difficulties all together, you will see every single stop. Every single entity that we're trying to create, we're trying to get together, like-minded person, which this former CEO testified in cross, saying that we are actually a group of people in opposition of the Chinese Communist Party.
Yes.
Okay, and we're trying to band together and do something together because we knew that the world has been soaked, infiltrated by the CCP, from business to social, civil organization to entertainment to media, you name it. Okay.
Especially media.
Especially media. So we wanted to be able to create a safe haven okay, for us to push back to the Chinese Communist Party. But everything MILESGUO and everything, the people who are in this movement, the supporters has been doing, for example, pulling our assets together, pulling the money together, create all those real entities with real people, with real business purpose, and with real mission in mind, which is taking down the CCP and creating an alternative to this world, okay? And we are actually nonstop has been basically attacked by CCP and CCP's proxies, right? So this is actually another layer of testifying how difficult it is for us, right? For us to actually to actually push forward, because we have a very narrow path, but I think I think we have the divine will behind us, so that's why we're still here.
This is probably one of the paths with some of the biggest resistance in history, because we are up against the Chinese Communist Party, and that's also one of the reasons why a lot of what we do is to go against the Chinese Communist Party, like, as Ava has just mentioned. And I think with the G series in mind, that has always been the backbone and the roots of why we created each of these each of these entities were created. And so with that being said, I think we can actually move forward a little bit with this, because I think we have already given the audience a great picture of the evidence that was discussed, and also what G Clubs is. And I think right now we were just talking about how they were trying to say that G Clubs Puerto Rico, there's no members there, and then they try to make arguments through that. But I think it's more interesting to look at G Clubs as a club, right? Because it's vastly having a club is vastly different than a regular business, where you would kind of have local residents as their customers. When it's a club, they might provide some services for them to travel to, so on and so forth. But I'm curious to see what is the arguments Miles' legal team used when cross-examining this witness.
Right. I just want to mention something really quick about the assets purchased by G Club that was mentioned in direct examination. Assets such as the yacht, race cars like Lamborghini, Bugatti, etc., and potential benefits for the members, like in the future, the physical clubs, etc. And all of this assets purchased, the witness claims that she doesn't know any of the purchased assets by G Club BVI. So to remind you that G Club BVI, the sole director is Mr. He. Mr. He. So in the previous question, she claims that she doesn't have any say or any decision on the things that that's going on with G Club. But then it's the CEO of G Club Puerto Rico. But a lot of decisions made that's out of her control. It's not really to do with her company that she doesn't have the right or responsibility to do certain decisions or to do some things because it's really out of her control, because it's not her entity.
That's correct.
Right?
She's only charging of the G Club Operation LLC, which is a Puerto Rico company.
Right.
Okay.
It's
G Club is
service,
a lot.
right?
G Club is a lot bigger through the questioning, right? It's international, as come across in the direct. Basically, you want to talk about the email and the attachment?
Yes, because she was a potential she was hired as a CEO by the recruiter because she had previous experience in the service industry. She worked in the hotel, worked in the golf club,
director of a golf club, marketing.
Yes, she had experience in this for 10 years. This is what she was asked to do. Same thing with G Club Puerto Rico, to provide service and to benefits for the people who are interested in, right? You wanna?
Yeah, and also she actually really experienced. In the direct, we wasn't left an impression that she was experienced. We were given the information that her previous job was only making 60,000, and when she took the VP marketing and strategy at G Club, her salary went up to 100,000. But there was not much more information on what she did previously. But during the cross, we actually came to know that she at least had 10 years of experience in event planning, and she had been in some important positions. For example, directors of a golf course in terms of planning, and also she was in charge of event planning for an organization called Invest Puerto Rico. So basically, she is the one that helping recruiting potential investors in her own country. Okay,
Yes.
so she's very.
So that Invest Puerto Rico company is a company that's for
It's almost
gathering investors.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
almost like
yes.
it's like a crown corporation, like a government relation, right? Because Invest Puerto Rico, and she basically in charge of all the event planning for this entity, and also she. And so she started her own event company, which it came across from yesterday's direct questioning. But she, in a nutshell, she has been in a leadership position. It's not like this is her first deal at radio show. So she has been. And so yesterday, the image that the prosecuting trying to portray her as is someone that does not have authority, right? Particularly in G Club, because everything goes to, Yvette Wang told me this, or Alex H advised me this, or her request me to do this. I don't know anything about anything. But today, in the cross, one of the things that did come across, the question is about the marketing. Because her experience in marketing, right? So, and when we actually dived in terms of the departments in G Club, and she mentioned there are finance, there are membership, there are marketing, there are, there are different, just like a normal business, right?
Yes.
All the departments and people reporting to the director of the departments. And then when it comes to her experience on marketing, and so it very clear to me that she talked about what are some of the things that the G Club has been designing on their own, and she basically was the decision maker of that efforts. For example, the website designing the membership gift box, designing reaching out the partners, and creating the communication emails and newsletter and messages. All of this has nothing to do with MILESGUO, because when doing the cross, our lawyer asked her, did you ever consult with MILESGUO on what to put on this and here and there? Nope. And who made the decision? Is that she said it's me and with my legal team, and they basically she called the shots, right? So it kind of go against what she the general impression left to the jury and the court, which she has no authority on anything, but that's literally not true. So it did come across very clear that she did have say, and I'm sure there's more, because we had to leave only an hour into the cross, but this is already very nice, because there are some of the things mentioned about
the contents. Let's say, for example, the contents been put on the website of G Clubs to promote G Club. So I wasn't there yesterday, but apparently there's a list of things that's shown to her, that the government attorney asked her a list of things, and then today the defense lawyer asked if she's responsible with any of the contents that's been listed by the government team, and she's like, yes, she is fully responsible with her marketing team.
Yes.
And and then MILESGUO didn't tell her to do anything with it, and then she didn't ask MILESGUO to show him, this is the design, do you like it, do you want to correct anything? None of that happened.
So she didn't ask for approval from Miles.
No, there's no approval. There's no suggestion from him. Completely separate. And
basically, I feel like she called the shots.
Yeah.
She's the one that decided the content.
She worked with each team, and she was responsible with each team for each things that's happening within the G Club Puerto Rico. And with G Club Puerto Rico employees, and emails, all that. There's none of that. Miles doesn't take a part in it.
Has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And it's because remember yesterday when we ending the direct, it ended with multiple questions asking the same thing, right? Because they were scamming through examining the website of a G Club, where exactly what you said about the member services offered to members. Remember, they pointed out, say, hey, do you really have a concierge services to members? No, we don't have that. That's the witness. The same witness say, yeah, we don't have that. Do you have a luxury balloon ride? Or something, some cruise on what's the river, Rhino River, and do you offer luxury safari? Like, do you have that service to the member? She said no. So basically, they pointed out every section of the member services on the website, and the witness basically say no, we don't offer. None of this are true. Okay, but today we understand that she put this on. She actually put this content, because the question is the content on the website, it was your and your staff's design. Is that correct? Yes. It's her and her staff design. Okay,
yes.
So, and she consulted. So basically she took discretion.
Right.
right?
As well as the image being taken, the image of MILESGUO being taken off of the G Club website is her decision because she thinks it's difficult because for the banking relations.
I'm not.
Right?
I wasn't clear about that, whether her decision or not. But it was confirmed why MILESGUO's image need to come off the website.
Right.
That was a question asked by the cross, during the cross, and her answer is because difficulty with banking relationships.
Yes.
This actually corroborated with the previous witness. Remember the mercantile bank that they had to close down. They have because they associate with MILESGUO, and now you probably have an understanding why we're encounter all those difficulties. Anything that touches MILESGUO that people are not scared to death to touch because they're under pressure. Okay, there's a lot of pressure in the system that they cannot work with MILESGUO for a reason, right? We already say that we're against the CCP.
Yeah, another thing is, we talked a lot about refunds, like people asking for refunds for G Club cards or stuff like that. Apparently she did not get any instruction from MILESGUO, because he was asked, did Miles tell you if this person is a CCP spy, so you shouldn't refund him?
That's right.
The examples, the questions being brought up in the previous testimony, previous examination from the previous witnesses, it's been also asked again, and this just to also refresh,
That's correct.
jurors' memories too.
And the second sweepstake, because she was asked, who decided which third party to hire, because G Club throughout transaction of their business they have to rely on third parties. So one of the third party they hire for the sweepstake administration of the sweepstake. So basically the second company, the second for March 2022, the sweepstake, the G-Talk Summit, she basically hired the third party. Okay, so she confirmed that. So she does have a lot of say. She did have a lot of say in the business as running as the Puerto Rico G Club entity. But one of the very highlights of the day is, remember in the direct questioning yesterday, I forgot whether it's yesterday came across or this morning, but it was mentioning, yesterday, the direct played a live broadcast of MILESGUO, and it dated June 28th, 2020, where MILESGUO mentioned if you get the fifth tier of the G Club membership, which is 50K, right? Cost you 50K. You will be automatically getting 10K stock in G Fashion. Okay, so that was aired on June 28th, 2020, MILESGUO's live broadcast. Okay, and then the prosecutor asked the witness, did G Club ever offer 10K stock of G Fashion to G Club member? And yesterday her testify is no. Okay, that's not true. No, we didn't give that. Okay, today our defense side played the same video. Okay, so he said, okay, come show the video. So basically the lawyer said, did you see the date? Yeah, I see the date. It's June 28th, 2020. Okay, you know what's the talk about? Yeah, it's the MILESGUO's live broadcasting. And then our defense team basically asked the court to put out another government exhibits. This is government exhibits that they used previously. And here is a transcript of another live broadcasting that done by MILESGUO on October 13th, 2020, which is about 4 months later. Okay, 4 months later than the initial live broadcast. So in this broadcasting, MILESGUO said something completely different, okay? So basically they asked the witness to read. It says, under the revised launch plan, okay, this is a revised, because previously June 28th was the just initial plan of launching, because where MILESGUO said you have to get ready, we're about to sell in mid-July, but this is October, and he very clearly said, you have to listen carefully. He said that in the video. He said, under the revised launch plan, no members of the G Club or the potential purchaser of the G Club will receive any stock. Not a stock in GTV, not stock in G Fashion, and this is very important. Please, please, please. And he said a number of please. Remember. Okay, if you this is not, you're not getting stocks. Okay, so then we play that, read that, and ask her whether she recall. She doesn't I don't recall the question. She probably don't know.
Right.
Yeah, she's not familiar. But this shows that what they used against the MILESGUO empty promise is basically it was error. It was mistake, corrected later on, right?
And
revised.
There's another video on the yacht. I don't know if you recall, but then it was shown to during the direct examination. It's one sentence that he said.
Yeah.
When you get the G Club card, you get the is it G Club stock or G Club share right away. I'm not sure if
That's
it's
the same video. That's the June 28th.
Yes,
yeah.
but then during the cross examination, they pull up this disclaimer. And then it basically explains the membership does not equal investment.
That's right.
Because during the direct examination, the government didn't show the full video. The video said G Club does not offer any G Fashion stock. So basically, if you get the full video that explains is that if you get a 50,000 G Club card, it allows you to buy G Fashion stock for $1 one share. So that doesn't mean if you get the card, you get the same amount of stock or the same amount of the stock, the share right away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and also to buy the G Fashion stock, it's none of the G Club's responsibility to offer this because it's with G Fashion. She cannot go step out of her company.
She doesn't purview to that.
It's a different company.
It's a different company,
even
yes.
if it's a G series.
That's correct.
Yeah.
I remember what you're saying about a video because this is actually the inquiry about spokesperson's role of the of MILESGUO.
Yes.
Because MILESGUO, there is a contract, right?
Yes.
During yesterday's direct questioning, there is a consulting agreement between the G Club Operation LLC, Puerto Rico, and MILESGUO, entered onto October 15th. 2020, become a consultant, literally just a spokesperson promoting the G Club. So this is a video that's showing that MILESGUO was on the yacht, and also our cross said, you mentioned about a yacht, you mentioned about showcasing, MILESGUO riding a Lamborghini and showcasing it. Do you know if Guo has a lifestyle like that? Do you know if? The question is this a part of marketing? Like showcasing, riding a Lamborghini and showcasing it on a video. Yeah.
Right.
Do you understand as a marketing person, this is a part of marketing to tell its member that they could have this kind of life experience as well, right? And she said yes.
It's marketing because also this G Club membership is offered. It's that people who are attracted to G Club are the people who share the same mind with MILESGUO, that they're all against CCP. This is the point because MILESGUO is the representative, the number one enemy of the Chinese Communist Party, and then there's people who are attracted to buy G Club membership. So this is the people who actually are the target of the marketing, right? Because they share the same mind and because they're the opposition of the CCP.
Yeah.
And then, so because of that, so Miles is the perfect spokesman for G Club. And also, is to advertise that to use the luxury, let's say luxurious lifestyle as a strategy to market. So this is what you can get to experience as well if you have the membership card. With the yacht, with the Lamborghini, and all that. So he's living a life like what's been marketed. This is the purpose.
That's why the cross asked, do you know if MILESGUO is having a life like that even before this? And yes is the answer. So that is why during the cross, our lawyer asked her understanding what is a spokesperson supposed to do, like for a company, right? What does a spokesperson do? And she did answer. She said, generating business for this entity and attracting people. Quote, this is a direct quote from her, attracting people like us, like-minded individual, right? And then he also testified, there's a question, he said, so this is an advertisement for G Club, right? And he said, yeah, this is an advertisement. And quote, this is a quote, this is witness said, for future benefits for the member. So these are the future benefits for the member. That means these are coming to be the benefits. Okay, we're in the middle of the process of pulling this, acquiring those assets. It does not mean, because you have to develop a process,
Yes.
right? And insurance, a lot of
Right.
experts you have to take into consideration. So she in the cross did mention this is future benefits. Very, very completely opposite picture from what the direct is painting. Direct is painting you're lying to your member. You said you're going to offer this services, but none of the services has been offered. Okay, that's their position. But today it's completely opposite.
It's also interesting if they shut down everything before we start opening. How do we offer this membership?
Yes.
How do we offer this benefits? You know, before
Exactly.
starting to you know
Yeah.
before the contract or before this starts.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
this is particularly true that comes to the email. This is a very important email. There is exhibits showed up. It's 2021 June 9th. So in this email, the witness sent to the owner of the G Club, Mr. Her, and she had an attachment. Okay, so the attachment is a presentation, a slide deck, named Business Alliance Presentation. It was just you mentioned. And in the presentation, the purpose of the presentation is for a potential partner. Strategic partnership. It's actually a hotel chain. I don't know whether I got the name right or not, but it's LNR hotel chain that they offer a lot of luxury hotels in Europe. Okay, so they're about to present, to introduce to this potential partner of what G Club is. Okay, so they put out, so the cross put out the PPT on the screen, and then ask witness to read, because this is actually witness sent it to her boss. Okay, in an email in 2021.
Yes.
And the cross asked her, did you review this before you sent it to your boss? And she said, yeah, I reviewed it. And the cross said, if there's any mistake, did you actually corrected them? Would you correct them because you wanted to leave a good impression of your boss? She's like, not sure, don't remember, not recall. But this is very interesting. When the PPT is up on the screen and we ask the witness to read. So it's actually very clear. A talk about what's the target market, just as Feather was just mentioned. The target market is high net worth of Chinese individuals that basically wanted to continuing, enjoy the luxury life experience. Although their target, but the membership is open to public, so anybody could buy into this. Okay, and then, but this is interesting. Marketing strategy is that the marketing strategies are undertaken by leveraging the reach and impact of key spokespeople, strategic partners, influencers, and well-connected individuals in these Chinese communities. So after she read, our cross asked, what do you mean by, what do you understand? What's your understanding of this marketing strategy by leveraging are undertaken by leveraging those the impact of those key spokespersons, for example, aka MILESGUO, right? She said she's not sure, okay, and she doesn't understand what that means. And so this is very interesting because it's very clear. And the other piece is very clear is it tells under the same slide deck under the physical clubs.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
They ask her to read. This goes like anticipated establishing club headquarters in Puerto Rico with plans to develop physical clubs around the world. Remember the direct question that the prosecutor team asked her? She said only in Puerto Rico, and G Club has no member in Puerto Rico. Now it is directly speaks to that because it's a anticipated starting to establishing club quarters. So that's the initial stage, but it doesn't stop there. And gradually they have plans to basically develop physical clubs around the world. So she should understand that, right? But when she gave the answer to the prosecutor team, this was basically omitted, right? And then it also says allow members to safely congregate in a luxury setting. So the cross asked her, what do you understand the safely congregate? What does safely congregate mean? I don't know. That's her answer, okay? And we know, right?
Yes.
As a member of this movement, we have been hunting basically
And
by
we
the
have
CCP.
already answered that earlier in the show
Exactly,
today.
exactly. We need a safe place, free from the harassment and the persecutions of the CCP.
Yeah.
So
And sorry to interrupt, Ava. We
Yeah.
just have 5 minutes left,
Okay.
so I think maybe we can wrap up the next thing, and then we will call it a day. And then anything left over from that, we can just cover
Okay.
that for the audience tomorrow.
Just a very, very last thing we saw, like it's like a defendant's exhibit that shows like the starting partner agreement with the Yacht Life. So actually this is one of the benefits that G Club paid for the members. You know, there's assets purchased like the cars, and then there's like engagement, like agreements, partnership with the Formula One, the race, right? And also now where they're showing literally a contract with G Club and the Yacht Life Technology Inc. To show that G Club should be in the contract. It literally says the services provided by G Club. They should be advertising and marketing the service provider, which is the Yacht Life. And then G Club is responsible to do that, to market. And then they should provide the service to its members.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Because remember, this is directly answered the prosecutor's questions. Did G Club pay anything for all those services you provide to member? They say no, right? But there is a cost to it. I mean, people entering into a strategic partnership for nothing. It's kind of it's unrealistic. They have to entering it for something. So that's why it's always a cross-marketing opportunity. So it can cross at the end of today. But I want to say the government in the middle of before the lunch break, they indicated they might have 2 more witnesses. The next witness is FBI agent, and the second witness is coming from Morgan Stanley, a banking analyst. So they probably plan to do some more cash flows and charts for the jury. But this is pretty much it through the at the 2:30 today.
Yeah, last thing I really want to add is that, you know, throughout the whole trial up to now, the government is trying to target Miles as, you know, to attack Miles using the luxury lifestyle that he has.
Yeah.
You know, but today I feel like he all really fell into the bracket perfectly where why it's been shown, because as a spokesperson, it's the perfect opportunity to show to the people who are like-minded like him that the things that he enjoys, that for people that they have the same chance to get to enjoy and experience, and also you know, using this kind of strategy that government uses to go back at it, says this is the perfect opportunity. This is our strategy to use this to gather people together.
Yeah, he understands
Right?
what's capitalism. In capitalism, capital talks. Okay, and in the world that controlled by the CCP, the reason why CCP can control the world is because they control the money and they control where the money goes. This is why MILESGUO had to create something and attracting those high net worth individuals that value liberty and freedom and value truth. Okay, these are the heroes. So whoever put their name, sign up the name in the beginning, these are epic stories of heroes. And I think American value hero and heroic story so much. And by the end of the trial, everybody will understand what is NFSC, what is whistleblower movement, and what did this man, MILESGUO, did, not only for America, but for all the Chinese people. So.
Right, precisely. And also there was a term I remember that was used in the early stages of the trial. The term was celebrity marketing, something along the lines of that.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that is a perfect way to, I guess, kind of see what kind of spokesperson Miles is for the G series.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know, there's nothing wrong with celebrities, you know, marketing
Nothing
certain
wrong with
things.
that.
Absolutely nothing wrong,
Yeah.
right? Because it's about them marketing certain things. Say if you're an athlete, you market you know, sports products, then it goes together, right? Because because that's what they do.
And not only just for not only for marketing, he has this lifestyle for the decades, but long before we started G Club, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
so we're so thankful to MILESGUO that started the G Club, and we thank for the early investors like Ho, like He, Mr. He. You know, I can't imagine his family's pressure, you know, under the CCP, and many people like him that we don't even know that stand behind of this movement. So yeah, back to you, Seven.
It's okay. I know we're really, this is something we're passionate about. You know, we're passionate about taking down the CCP, and for someone like Miles, who has been the #1 enemy of the CCP, to market a company that is built upon the roots of taking down the CCP, it couldn't be more perfect.
Yeah.
And this is the best way, like you said, to draw in some like-minded people who just needed to have a place where they can come together with other people who are also like-minded in this purpose of taking down the CCP, and also to enjoy their lifestyles alongside with that, alongside their mission. And you know, with that being said, you know, this is also why we have the show on OFA TV, and we couldn't be more thankful for Jeremy, because a lot of the audiences out there, we're also very like-minded, and we're also, you know, freedom-loving. And I did notice Jeremy actually hopped in the chat today. So again,
Oh,
Jeremy,
really? Thank you.
Yeah, again, Jeremy, thank you for giving us the opportunity to be on LFA TV at 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
And again, to our audiences, I don't think I have some of our hosts has mentioned this before, but if you do have any questions, don't be afraid to ask them during the show or leave us a comment. We will do our best to answer some of these questions. And I do look at the comments and I do try to answer some of it, because I think earlier in the show, a lot of the viewers were asking, where is the trial taking place? It's taking place in Southern District Court of New York for all of those individuals, all of our LFA members that are still curious about that. So again, leave us a comment if you have any questions, because this is going to be a quite complicated case for those of you who are not a member of the NFSC, and we will be very patient to explain any questions you guys might have, just to give you guys the full picture of this trial. And now, with that being said, thank you, Ava and Feder, for coming on.
Thank
It
you.
was such a great show with you guys, and you guys always do a great job at bringing the truth to the audience. So I couldn't be more thankful for your hard work.
Thank you. Thank you, LFA families. Bye.
We'll see you everybody next time. Bye bye.